Hey, what's up? I'm Kyle Irby, and this is episode 70. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Thank you. This is a special episode. We recorded this in 3 different settings because we knew that I would be out of town for the Bayou Classic. So I wanted to have one ready for you for the Wednesday after. And that's why we did it like this. But this is a very special episode because it's about trying again. And it talks about my journey that starts with me being afraid to bomb at the black clubs and ends after my first set back home. I've been feeling lately that my comedy career is just spinning its wheels as I've been trying to chase mainstream success. But when my brother, Kamal Abdul-Jabbar, reminded me to go back home, I realized my lifelong philosophy applies here too. Go where the love is. But you're still here, Kamal, today. There's still going to be a Dear Irby. We got a good one too. It's about a guy whose fiance wants to hyphenate her last name. So we'll get into all that and more right now. This is the MRA podcast with Kyle and Kamal. I am Kyle. Kamal is not here. I am in New Orleans right now putting this thing together because I'm at the Bayou Classic. But he's going to be joining me. He's going to be on this episode. You'll hear him. This is a different type of thing. If this is your first time listening to the show, thank you. Welcome. But we're doing things a little bit differently today. I'm going to be popping in and out to guide you on this come to Jesus moment I had in my career. But just like we always do, we're going to start this off with some feedback. And this feedback was very inspiring. It goes right with this episode. So let's start off with some feedback, homie. This one is from one of our OG listeners who goes all the way back to Kyle Irby, Male Rights Activist, our visual show that we used to put on YouTube. Still there. Go check them out. Great episodes. Hercules from Philly. He says, if the vision was impossible, it would not have been given to you. I heard y'all talking about time passing by, but dog, y'all tripping. You got to realize it's supposed to be hard. Stay in the game long enough for it to pop. If you came up tomorrow, people would think you came up quick. With fear comes sacrifice. You can walk away from it, but when you're breaking up with the game, don't make it that your vision broke you. Stay in the game. When money went left with my family, we had to move back in the hood back in 83. I saw niggas balling. My goal was to get my family back to the suburbs. That was my intro to the game. I didn't touch work from 83 all the way to 87, 88. But I was working on it. I was training. My first deal went bad. I was pushing double up 50s, making a couple hundred a day. Took me till 1995 to touch bricks. So he got the first desire in 83, and it was 12 years later till he finally touched bricks. That's 12 years after the initial vision. You have to stay in it. If you stop, you won't be ready when the opportunity comes. And it will come. What if it wasn't meant for you to blow up until you're 48 years old? Would you stop? Keep going. That was a good word. And for some of you guys don't understand, the drug dealing lingo, it doesn't really matter if you know every definition. Just understand that he made it to bricks. That's the big money. All right. And double up 50s, that was the small money. That's the easiest way I can translate it. And whenever you're trying to do something major, what he's saying is you start small. You don't even get to touch what you're trying to get for a while, and eventually you'll get there. That was great inspiration. I appreciate it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to start the conversation with Kamal and I, where he was trying to get me to go back to the black comedy clubs, but I was afraid that I would not be accepted. This is the MRA Podcast. Hey guys, I want to take this time to ask you to subscribe to The World According to Cheryl. That is Cheryl Underwood's podcast. It's hilarious, and I'm on it.
So I think that we equate black audience with that hood ass, underground comedy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So when we're like scared of our audience because we think what they want is weed and dick and pussy jokes, and
because that shit kills.
Right. But and it probably does in some of those like local bars and shit like that. Even like maybe like Black Night at some of the comedy clubs. But also, Craig Robinson kills with that audience. Also, Deion Cole kills with that audience.
Yeah, I love
You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, we just have to be better. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's not impossible. Motherfuckers there's a blueprint out there. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers who have that type of not the typical Chitlin material who are able to do the Chitlin rooms. But then they do it so well that the other side of the tracks come calling. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you with Dominique, one of the biggest responses I've ever seen on Def Comedy Jam was Craig Robinson. Like biggest ovations. Had everybody like falling in the crowd. And he's talking about the hokey pokey. You know what I'm saying? It's like this dude was telling some obscure jokes. Nothing hood about it. That his jokes could have played every room in the country. Who got well, not the one about the last night a DJ saved my life. You remember that one?
No, man, no.
He told a story about like Kid Capri. He got into some issue and Kid Capri basically squashed. Kid Capri saved him. He said, last night a DJ saved my life. Hilarious. And everybody who knew the song, I don't know if that Sister Sledge reference is gonna play somewhere else. But that Def Comedy Jam audience got it, right? And then he talked about, you know what I'm saying, the hokey pokey and all that stuff. The inventor of hokey pokey died in his funeral and put the right arm in. They had trouble burying him because they put the right arm in, put the left arm, all that stuff. And like, that just killed. Yeah. Very, very simple premise. Killed. Deion Cole stuff, man, and his commander. He's not coming there yelling at everybody. He's very, very calm with it. Takes his pen, his notepad, and all that stuff. He's very, very calm, but he commands the room. Yeah, I always worried that I have to come out there dancing and being loud and shut the fuck up, y'all. You know, y'all motherfuckers better get up for me. Like, listen to me. No, I just have to be better. You know what I'm saying? And I think that audience. I don't want to retreat from that audience. That audience is a challenge. Yeah. That I need to overcome. Yeah. And once we overcome that audience, and because they will appreciate you. That's one thing about us, man. We there.
Can I have your attention, please? We are trying to start a movement. You heard that right. We're starting a movement. We're doing something different here at the MRA podcast. We vibing with y'all. You know what I'm saying, fellas? You know what I'm saying, ladies? It ain't just fellas that listen to the show. Matter of fact, it's majority women, but it's all good. I know you know somebody that fits with what we trying to do over here. So all we need you to do is send it to them. Tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? That somebody know how we get down here at the MRA show. It's really called the podcast, but I just wanted to rhyme no and show. We started this conversation because I was talking about how I'm making a conscious effort to work at the Black Club in LA because I haven't before. Black clubs are hard. A white crowd is just easier, but the black crowd makes you funnier. You can smash that black crowd. You can't necessarily smash any crowd though, because sometimes you'll start to tailor your comedy to the black crowd, and then some of the stuff you can't do everywhere because it becomes inside jokes. But I remember when I first started comedy, man, I looked up to this cat named Michael Jr.
So I got married in August. I got married, which is cool, which is blessed. Don't clap. I don't got that much time. Which is great, but before I got married, like, I had a date and stuff, dating was kind of complex in Los Angeles because women are sometimes materialistic. And I ain't giving nobody no materials. One woman asked me to buy her a Coach purse. You know how expensive a Coach purse is? So I got her an assistant coach. And I should have known that she was materialistic too, because when I asked her out, she tried to subliminally use words to figure out what type of vehicle I could afford. I was like, so you want to go out? She said, well, maybe we can go on some sort of expedition. I mean, if Yukon XL, navigate your way to pick me up. And I wasn't spending no money on her, so I was like, oh, that's cool, because if you go with me, to the fiesta, I'll be more than happy to be your escort.
It was so funny, man. But the point is, Michael Jr. was the only dude I remember when I used to go to the Comedy Union, because I used to host the Comedy Union. I used to host the early show.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But it wasn't for the Comedy Union. It was like this guy named Christian Michelson had a show. It was a bringer show.
Okay.
And I did it a few times. You know, when you first started doing comedy, these bringer promoters, they find you. I think I did like a Judy Carter. She had a class.
Okay.
And at the showcase, he showed up and they're like, man, you are amazing. Do you want to do a real club? Yes. If you just bring 5 of your closest friends, you'll be booked. So I fell for that a whole lot of times. And then eventually he started letting me host a show.
Okay.
And the show was at the Comedy Union, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, matter of fact, I think I brought Sidney Castillo up at that show.
Okay.
Who's now a writer for the neighborhood. And he always tells people, man, this guy put me up the first time I got up. So it was at the Black Club, but it was before the Black Show. And so, of course, after the show, I would hang and watch the Black acts. And, you know, that I knew from, we used to do Mixed Nuts on Tuesdays. Mm-hmm. Remember? That open mic, I think it was Tuesday or Thursday. It was Thursday, something like that. But we used to do Mixed Nuts on Wednesday, whatever. We used to do Mixed Nuts. That's where I met Rodney Perry. That's where I met, you know, Bo P, all these guys, right? Late Tuesday night, your boy Mad Marv, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the point is, I used to go to Mixed Nuts to work to make sure I had my black muscle tight. Mm-hmm. And then I would go to the Comedy Union to host the white show. And I would see these heavy hitters go up. And I remember Rodney Perry used to go up there and murder. But then I remember Michael Jr. would go up and he would hit him with a clever, well-written shit. And I always thought it was so amazing that he had just come from the Comedy Magic Club. Mm-hmm. And so he would go to the Comedy Magic Club, do a set, come to the Comedy Union, do a set. Then go back to the second show at the Comedy Magic and then come back and do another one. Like he would always bounce in between. I remember always thinking, I want to do that. I want to be able to do the Comedy Magic, which is mainstream white at the beach, Hermosa Beach, and Comedy Union. Well, now I find myself doing Comedy Magic twice a month, but I ain't doing Comedy Union. Hey, come on, we got listeners all over the world now, man.
Yep.
And I was wondering, man, what the people do while they're listening to our show. I know we got a guy in the Navy who's in Spain. He listens. We got a lady that drives a Lyft. She listens while she's driving her Lyft and has her customers listen too, which is absolutely hilarious. Cat in Brooklyn listens while he delivers some fish. Okay. We want to know from other people, man, how do you listen to our show? What are you doing? Hit us up on the social media. I'm at Kyle Irby.
I am at Angry Kamal.
And let us know what you're doing when you listen to our show. Kamal, what are you doing when you listen to the show?
Man, I'm usually chilling, man. I take the train to get my son from school.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, man. So I get the headphones on and I'll listen to it front and back. The problem is I'm coming back. Mm-hmm. He wants to talk. I'm trying to listen. So I have to, try to act like I'm paying attention to him. I'm really listening to my words of wisdom.
That's good, man. Yeah. Pretend like you're listening to your son while you're listening to the podcast. That's one way to do it. I usually listen to while I'm cleaning the house, man. I picked... Well, go ahead.
Domestic work?
Yeah, man. Oh, come on, dude. I wish I didn't have domestic work, but yeah, man. I usually listen to if I'm washing the dishes or folding laundry. I listen to any kind of thing that I don't have to think.
Yeah,
and I just get to listen. But I want to know what are the people listening? What are y'all doing? Let us know. You and I had this come to Jesus conversation outside Santa Monica Boulevard to the wee hours of the night, me, you, and Dominique Purdy. And you helped me to see that, man, why aren't you going to the Union? And I remember my cousin Anthony told me this a long time ago when I was chasing the Tonight Show. I always been chasing the Tonight Show. I started there as an intern and wanted to do a set there. Because in my mind, I heard that this is how you make it in show business. You do the Tonight Show, then you become famous and you do a sitcom and you headline. So I still have that old school lie in my brain. That's a lie, and it's old.
It's old school.
So in my mind, I've always been chasing the Tonight Show. Well, the Tonight Show ain't never been chasing me. Like I've sent them tape after tape after tape. I've showcased. They not fucking with me yet. See, still delusional. Still not giving up. Mm-hmm. My cousin Anthony was like, "Do Comic View. do Comic View. And I was just like, and I'll be honest, I thought about a lot of the hack shit I've seen on there. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I ain't really that. I ain't that. Now, there's some good comedy on Comic View, but there's a lot of hackery.
Yeah.
And I just was like, that ain't really my style. And when I try to do the show, I always feel like I got to black it up. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't want to have to try to chase nothing. I just want to do me. And when I do a white show, I ain't got to, they love me from the tip. Mm-hmm. When I do a black show, they like, let's see this nigga funny. You know what I mean? Like I start on the black show in the negative. I do. Like, honestly, it's just, I remember the last time I did D-Ray show at the Improv. I ripped that bitch, but I went up there scared as hell with a horrible intro. He brought me up horrible, dog. Yeah, this is brother, give it up for, what's his name? Kyler. Yeah. Went up there to a spattering of applause. And because of opening for Cheryl for those years, I knew what to do. Because when I opened for Cheryl, it was just her and I. And I went up there to no introduction, and I would have to go up there from 0 and take that shit from 0 to 60 and then pass it to her. And I always wanted to pass it to her nice and lathered up. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where I did that shit with ease. But at first, nigga, I struggled. But anyway, the point being, my cousin was like, why don't you try to do Comic View? And I was just like, because my mom was just like, I ain't that. I ain't dancing. I ain't doing that shit. Well, fast forward years later, the first person to put me on TV to do comedy is Bob Sumner from Laugh Tracks.
Bob Sumner from Def Comedy Jam.
All right. Bob Sumner from Def Comedy Jam fame is the man that put me on Laugh Tracks. Now, granted, he didn't put me on it.
Yeah.
It's his show, though.
Black man,
black show, black audience. Mm-hmm. I remember I had a hit. I knew I had a hit. I did this joke that I had been working on. It's called Black Folks Stick Together. And I remember it's one of those things I've been trying to work on for a while, but it just never was working. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was in Washington, all white people with Keitra Long, right? Took her on the road with me, and she's been a guest on our show. And I remember this situation that happened. Two things happened. My dad was on this bus one time, and this brother got on, and it was like loud as hell, like all you Mexicans with an S. Don't say a motherfucking thing to us, or I'm whooping your ass and this nigga right here gonna help me. And my pops was like, what? Like, nigga, I don't even know you. And then the second situation was one time I was on the Southwest flight, and I remember seeing this brother walk on my way, and I judged him. Thinking, nigga, don't sit next to me. Because this nigga was loud, and I was just like, they gonna think I'm you. Mm-hmm. That's just what it's like being black. They gonna think I'm you. So the joke, that's all I had. And I used to try it, and it was never good. And then I explained it to Keitra, and I was like, this is what I want to take it. She was like, maybe you should take it here to here. And I was like, I don't know about that. I tried it. It hit fast, all white. Mm-hmm. Then I was like, I think I got a hit. Like, I'm not one of them comics that build hits. I know very early on if it's going to work. Richard Pryor was doing Mudbone. The shit wasn't working. He stuck with it 6 months. Yeah. That ain't me. I don't stick with shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I think I got something.
Yeah, I think I got something. So then I took it. I remember my son had a game. I hated I had to miss his game. It was one of the only games I missed his senior year. But Cheryl wanted to take me to Dallas. And I was like, I'm not missing this shit. Because I wanted to try this joke in Dallas. Mm-hmm. Dallas is one of those crowds that it's not too tough. They're not too tough. They're smart. They're fun. You ain't got to dance. Dallas is a relatively easy crowd in this club. I've been there before with her. And she had kicked me off the road by now. So I wasn't opening for her anymore. It was a chance to go back, go with Courtney Black, Mike Washington, and her and do the show. So anyway, I did it because I wanted to try that one new joke. It hit again. I was like, okay, I think we got some. But then I was like, I need to try somewhere not so easy. It just kept working. I was just like, okay. So then I think Sarah Mello, who's a promoter in LA, told me, hey man, you got anything for Laugh Tracks? Here goes the clip of the show. This is what they do. They tell stories, reenact them. Do you got any jokes for Laugh Tracks? And I was like, yeah, I got this one. I knew I had one. Mm-hmm. Then I sent him that, and Eric Abrams, former booker of the Improv, hit me up. I was like, yeah, we love it. We want to bring you in.
Okay.
But he was like, yes, it's an urban show, blah, blah, blah. Of course, I started getting nervous, but thankfully, because of the Cheryl Underwood training, I knew I was ready for that. Anyway, my point being, long story long, is My cousin said, man, fuck them, man. Stop chasing them. Go with the brothers.
Right.
And fast forward 15 years later, you pretty much tell me the same thing. Like, man, why ain't you with the union? Man, that was deep. That question may turn out to be a career-defining question that Kamel asked me. Why aren't you at the union? Black-owned club, only black-owned club probably in the West. And that question is deep. And that question may turn out to be a career-defining question that changed my life. And when we come back from this break, you're going to hear why Kamel thought that it would go well for me. You're going to hear his us versus, not even us versus them philosophy, but his one of us philosophy is really, really deep. For all the brothers out there that aren't necessarily hood or, you know what I'm saying, every black person knows what it feels like to not be black enough unless you're super hood, straight from the projects. But the rest of us, we've struggled with that before. And what Kamel says really opened my eyes and ears, and it was life-changing. As we come back, you're going to hear that. And later on the show, there's a Dear Irby writer that wants to know how we feel about his fiance not wanting to change her name completely. She'd rather do the hyphenated thing. You got to stay tuned for that. It's the MRA Podcast. Yo, Kamel.
What's up?
I finally finished my album, dog.
The one you did in 2013?
Yeah, man. I know, man. A long time ago, man. But I said, you know what? I'm going to finish this album. This thing is coming out. Eventually. You know, you got to finish. You can't give up.
I can dig it. And eventually it's finally here.
Eventually it's finally arrived, man. And I was listening to it, man. This thing is funny, dude.
Okay, it's not dated. No jokes about chingy or nothing like that.
There is some dated jokes in there. Like there's a reference to, it was before Michael Sam came out. Because it was like a reference to gay athletes that came out. And I was like, wow, that's dated. Okay. But the juxt of it is everything's good.
Bruce Jenner still...
Yeah,
Caitlyn. Caitlyn?
He's Bruce in the album.
Bruce.
I don't talk about him,
but he was Bruce.
Yeah, I used to have a Bruce Jenner joke. He was Bruce, and this when I recorded this. But no, it's ready, man. It's out. Okay. It's funny, man. Check it out and get it on iTunes right now. It's called "Be a Man at All Times."
Here's the thing about it, man. You're one of us.
What does that mean?
The way I look at it is, man, I look at it as a us, not a versus. Mm-hmm. Not a versus, but a us and them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so always, like when Terry Crews was talking that shit, I was like, oh, he's not really riding with us anymore. Mm. You know what I'm saying? When he started talking about the masculinity and he was like defending women saying the N-word and all that stuff, I was like, oh, okay.
What do you mean defending women saying the N-word?
I think Gina Rodriguez said the N-word or something like that, and people were giving her like the blues let
me Google who the fuck that is.
Gina Rodriguez, I think she's on Jane the Virgin.
Okay. Oh, she's cute.
Yeah.
She's Jane.
Yeah, and so I think she said something like not most recently because they got her like about a month ago saying the N-word like in an old comedy sketch. I think she's Puerto Rican. Mm-hmm. And so she was catching the blues. I think Terry Crews came to her defense. And this was after about like, you know what I'm saying, he called hell for letting the man touch his genitals. And then he was up on Capitol Hill talking about toxic masculinity and all this stuff.
Okay.
It was like, I think that he's not really riding for us anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And going back to you, you're one of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're one of us. And so I think that your humor is universal. Mm-hmm. But us, it's going to stick with us harder.
Think so?
I think that, and this is just based on my experience. Mm-hmm. Like every time, like you perform for like my people, you know what I'm saying? Like that, my mom's retirement. My mom's retirement party.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It was like 300. I don't know how many people. I'm about to start making up like 300 people, whatever it is. But it was all these people in there, man, different ages. You know what I'm saying? I would say different cultures.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have some hood people.
Nick, your family's funny, man. You got sisters that are hood as fuck.
Yeah.
And then you got bougie.
Yeah.
In the same family.
Right.
So I got the same shit.
Yeah.
I guess that's a black thing.
Yeah. But it didn't matter. You're just killing regardless. You got them all. It wasn't like a section that was laughing their ass off, like, because they got it. Nah, man, you was ripping it. And so I was like, dude, Kyle's too dope. I was talking on my way home, like, man, why the fuck isn't he on TV? You know what I'm saying? Like I could not understand it. I could not understand it. And I know every time I see you with the open mic and all that stuff, your stuff is good enough. Like your pen game is good enough where the people are gonna laugh. But that gut shit,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's because I think you're one of us, and so you know you make your family laugh harder because we really get the experiences. Now the other people are gonna laugh because it's a good joke. It's great jokes, and you're talented, so they're gonna laugh. You know what I'm saying? But I think the shit's designed for it's coming from you're one of us, so it's coming from us. You know what I'm saying? And I remember your old shit that you used to do at Mixed Nuts, at Haha, that I've never seen you do before. I was like, why the fuck you don't do that shit? You know what I'm saying? I remember you did a joke about like when they used to mute the words or they would do like the radio edit, and you didn't mind the radio edit, but like shit that people don't even say, like postman.
Yeah.
It was like, who here has ever heard postman?
The dope man.
like who in this besides like me? I don't know if Black heard because I don't know if that was some local K-Day shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, nigga.
That's funny.
That is some nigga shit right there. Postman.
Yeah, instead of dope, to explain to the audience, the joke was basically saying that, I don't remember the joke, but it was like, I think the radio edit of dope man, they would say postman. Yeah, that's me, which is ridiculous.
Right, because you were saying like you don't mind like a radio edit, but I think you were saying, but you had a problem with some shit that they don't even say.
Yeah.
Like postman.
Yeah.
Like how was that even a song? They
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So
but
stupid.
I was like, dude, I mean, I've always remembered that. Like, man, you got your brain. Your brain is really comedically developed, right? So you could think of some shit that's coming from us and make that shit universal. But we really are going to understand it. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing was, when you were saying what all you had to do to get into the
Comedy Store.
the comedy store, I didn't understand why you still have to do that.
Yeah, I know. That's the frustrating thing.
Like, why the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah. I can see why they got to do that.
I can see why they got to do it.
You got to do
Why
that.
do you have to do it? So I couldn't even get past any of the shit you were saying after.
Yeah, he was like, nigga, rewind this shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I wanted to know about like the union, because I'm like, man, I know you would rip that audience, because from my memory of the union, it was black, but it wouldn't be considered like nigga night.
No.
From my memory of it, I don't know what it's turned into, but it was more like upscale date night and stuff like that. It wasn't the fucking younger hooder audience at the Improv and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That was the hoodest shit I've ever seen, the Improv.
Wow.
And then whatever, the Chocolate Sundays was like, okay, we got on some upscale, still kind of hood.
Yeah. Upscale hood.
Yeah. But the
union's a little more working class, blue collar hood. No, blue collar upscale.
See, and I thought like my guy David Arnold and those guys would be, you know, David Arnold?
Of course, David A. Arnold.
Yeah. I thought they would be the guys rocking that audience. It's black material. It's material for us. It's a little bit more clever.
I think my fear, man, I'm going to be honest with you, man. It's just, I know when I go to the union, I'm not even close to the best. If I go to any comedy club, mainstream club, I feel like I have an opportunity to hit that shit so far over the wall that I'm about to walk off and be one of the best of the night. I know it.
Yeah.
But when I go to the union, no, I'm not about to be, you know what I mean? And you can't use your normal crutches being black guy in a white room. That gets you 5 minutes of laugh already. If you play being the only black dude in the room, you already, like, but as I hear myself talking, I always have to ask myself, what would you tell your sons? You don't always need to be, you don't need to run away from situations where you don't always need to be the best in the room. You need to you grow in places where you're not the best.
Well, yeah, it seems like what you're saying is like you're the black guy playing for like the small private school and don't
Killing it. Will Smith.
Yeah, you're Will Smith.
I'm Will Smith of West what? No, what's not West Beverly.
Bel Air Prep.
Bel Air Prep. Yeah. I'm Will Smith of Bel Air Prep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And Will ain't trying to go to over there to fucking not Inglewood. What's it? Westchester.
Yeah.
Will's going to get annihilated at Westchester.
Right. And so, but he's got the talent. He probably could.
Yeah.
Eventually, once he gets used to the shit, the speed of it and all that stuff, he's got the talent to do it.
He's talented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he sticks with it, just like he was killing at Bel Air Prep, he'd be killing at Westchester.
That's what it is.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Cause that audience, well, I'm more intimidated by like the hood audience. Not the black audience.
Yeah.
Because the black audience, I feel, you know what I'm saying? Hey baby, I'm part of it.
Yeah.
But that hood audience, I get a lot of the references of the hood comedians, but that ain't my life.
Yeah.
And so I found myself every time I did one of those nights trying to think of hood jokes on the spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do worse than I probably would have done had I just gone in there and did my normal shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember I did the Comedy Act Theater, like a contest. And I got there and saw the audience. I saw like when Hope Flood was Hope was hosting it, and I saw her coming out, and she had like a fucking beer in her hand, and the way she was, had them all laughing and stuff like that. And I was at towards the end of the line, and maybe 10 comedians. I might have been like 7. I saw the first 2, and I saw their material. I saw the response they got. And I was like, okay, I can't do this shit.
Yeah.
Can't do my jokes on the Jetsons.
Yeah, I feel that all the time.
Yeah. And so I started, for whatever I rehearsed, I went back and rewrote everything and changed it and did probably much worse because A, it wasn't developed, B, it wasn't me. You know what I'm saying?
But why do you feel the need to try to serve an audience that don't want to hear about the Jetsons? I feel like your material actually would be suited better for a mainstream club. If you're saying my stuff is better in the black room, some of your stuff, some of your militant shit ain't going over. But some of your shit would go over better in an alternative room, at a Mark Maron, Silver Lake-y room, nerd room.
I don't think. Well, you think in theory possibly, but the thing about it is because I'm one of us.
Yeah, I'm
not saying no shit that they don't know about.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, my take on the Jetsons is from the perspective of us.
Yes. So you're still bringing yourself with you.
Right.
So no matter what you do, even if the topic that you're in is some weird ass outlandish shit, you're always going to bring it back to Kamau. Just like Kyle's going to bring it back to Kyle shit. Right. Kamau's going to bring it back to Kyle, which puts you back in the black room.
Right. So yeah. So the way I would look at it is like all of us in this room watched the Jetsons. That wasn't no white shit. That was a cartoon that came on. And so my point of view or my perspective on it is coming from a black man's perspective that is not necessarily typical. Not like, man, black people's in space, so it's not that. That would be the easy way. Yeah. It's a different way of looking at it, but it's still coming from, you know what I'm saying? It's still coming from one of us. It's like what I did when I did Bufu. Like,
explain the audience what Bufu is.
Bufu, okay. So we all know Tarzan. Well, older people know who Tarzan is. Tarzan don't get that much shine as he used to. When we were kids, Tarzan had a cartoon. It was a bunch of old Tarzan movies that came on like Channel 5 and all of that stuff, right? So it was a big series. It was a big franchise. Tarzan was this white guy who was known as the king of the jungle. So he lived in Africa.
Yeah.
And so Tarzan was the king of the jungle, and so he would defeat these African tribes. He talked to the animals. He swung on ropes. He had like a monkey friend. He had a girlfriend or wife. You know what I'm saying? A son. So you got these white guys who were not native to Africa but ran that shit, so to speak, the jungles of Africa. And so he was the king of the jungle. So every black person knows that. That was like an old joke. There's more niggas in here. We got enough niggas in here to do a Tarzan movie and stuff like that. That was old Red Fox thing. So everybody knew Tarzan. And so my thing was, how the fuck did... Okay, I'll acknowledge he's the king of the jungle.
Yeah.
How did he become the king of the jungle? And who did he get the throne from?
Hilarious.
I want to know that guy's story.
Yeah.
How does that guy come back and explain that shit to his people? He ain't the king no more.
Man, that could even be a stand-up bit.
Well, it was a stand-up bit. I couldn't do the characters. It was the guy. It was Bufu who was the king. It was and his people arguing. So I'm doing an argument. I'm not that good of a performer, so I couldn't pull it off. You know what I'm saying? So I wrote it as a sketch, but that's one of those things where it's like if I had more confidence, I think at that time every black audience would love it.
And the lesson is to me. All right, guys, now it's time for the lesson of the day. You don't shy away from your fears. You don't try to be who you're not. That's the other thing I didn't want to do. A lot of times I feel like in a black crowd, I don't get to be myself because I got to try to, like you did with the Jetsons joke, got to try to black it up.
Or I just didn't do it. That was the thing about it. I didn't do it because I thought they didn't want to hear that.
And you were probably wrong.
Yeah.
And my thing, I think I'm at a point. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because remember, now our audience is the hoodest audience as far as the education goes, our shows. But when Dominique, and this is a couple years later, I saw Dominique do that joke about the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And I got like you said, I got a hood family. They're in stitches. They're in stitches because his take on it.
The recording session?
No.
Dude, the recording session to the theme song.
No, that's not the one I'm talking about. I mean, from what I remember.
You know, he had a joke on that too. I love that joke.
It was the fact they robbed him. They got, where the fuck did they get money from? They didn't have jobs. So he thinks they were robbing the pizza man.
That's funny.
And basically the pizza man, they give him this address to an alley. It's like, that'd be $13.95. No, it's not, dude.
Dominique Purdy's one of the best.
Yeah, over here, dude.
Yeah.
No, it's not, dude.
No, it's not, dude.
And then he had to go back and explain to his boss why he got robbed by some turtles, and it was a big rat with a bathrobe. I mean, it was like, God damn,
he's a beast.
I know all of that shit.
Yeah, you didn't think to do it,
right? And that's
not only that, Kamal. You have a joke like it, your Jetson joke, and you were too scared to do it.
Too scared to do it because I'm thinking. Cause I've also gone to a place. This comedian who used, you know, he was more silly. Yeah, he was talking about like you, and it wasn't jokes. It was like, hey, you know when people like, you know, digging their nose, you can see them out the window like doing this. Yeah. And it was fun. Yeah, it was funny. And he said talking about like some like booty and wiping. You know, he was a really silly comedian. Yeah. And the next guy that came up was like, we ain't talking about no boogers and booty over here. They go, ah! Yeah. So I didn't like the fact that the nigga clowned him afterwards about his material. Yeah. You didn't want the George Jet. We ain't talking about the goddamn Jetsons. Yeah, this ain't no motherfucking kindergarten. This motherfucker. Yeah. Who getting some pussy tonight? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's fear. Yeah. And I'm going to have to take those lumps. It's going to happen. It's going to be embarrassing. But at the end of the day, you're going to be special. Here's the thing that's sticking with me, man. One of my biggest fears, dude, is because I've documented, talked about how my wife left and that shit hurt, blah, blah, blah. One of my biggest fears is her to get with a dude just like me next and him to pull it off. You know what I mean? He's with my kids on Christmas. He just like me, just better. Makes more money. Better father, more romantic. Like, hey, he's just like me, just a better version of me. He ain't faithful. Nah, fuck no. But he's blank, and blank. It's just like, damn. And so the worst feeling is, man, when you don't do you because you're afraid to do you, and then somebody gets up and does you better than you. That's the shit. And sometimes, man, you got to go where God is pushing you.
come out, you having that conversation with me out there 2 a.m. It stuck with me because I'm reinventing right now, and I'm trying to figure out my next step and where am I going to go, because it's a time of change. I set my goals for the year, and it's the fourth quarter, and I'm looking at next year's plan, and I'm making some changes. You got to take your inventory. So as we wrap up this year, I'm taking inventory of my life, and I'm thinking, okay, it's time to make some different changes. It's time to do things differently. And one thing I'm realizing I need to do, I need to face these black crowds, because they're going to make me stronger. Yeah, I can't stand the way you got to wait all goddamn night, and you don't always, sometimes it's 1 a.m, sometimes they do 30 minutes in between comics, that kind of shit. Some of that shit is just never going to change. But one thing that's going to be sure is this: black people get you, black people have your back, black people going to love you. And there's nothing worse than chasing a bitch that don't feel you. If you're in a situation where you like this woman and she ain't feeling you, man, you really need to rethink that shit. You should never be in a situation where you chasing a bitch and the bitch ain't chasing you. You need to go where the love is, man. That's always been my philosophy in a relationship, man. Go where the love is, dog. And yeah, they may not show love at first. You got to put in a little work at first. But if you see a situation where if you can envision it where the love will be there, man, stop chasing these other motherfuckers. Let them chase you. And if you raise your value, they'll chase you sooner or later.
Take your ass home.
When we come back, a little time has passed. I do my first set at the Comedy Union in several years. And later on in the show, we have a Dear Irby writer whose fiance does not want to take his last name completely. She wants to do the hyphenated thing. You got to hear our take on this. It's the MRA Podcast. Hey, if you're enjoying the podcast, do us a favor. Tell a friend. That's it. Costs you nothing, helps us out, and gives your friend some entertainment to make that commute a little easier, or gives them some company on a workout, or while they're cleaning the house, so it helps them out, helps everyone out. All right, so please subscribe, leave a positive comment, and share. So I did my first Comedy Union show Friday, and last Friday you were there, Kamal.
Yes.
What'd you think, man?
I thought you did a hell of a job, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
It was, I remember being very nervous before I got up, you know what I mean? Because it's weird when you see all of us in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I had never done this material in front of a black crowd.
Okay.
Never. I tried it the night before at Crack 'em Up at the Comedy Store, and it was one of those times where the guy before me, I was second. And the guy before, I was doing the second spot in the cold open. The guy before me had a rough set. And so it changed the dynamic of the room. Okay. And there was white people in the room, and it was mixed. It was majority black, but it was mixed. But the Comedy Union was all black. It was the first time.
Some sprinkle of Latinos.
Yeah, it was black and Latino, but it wasn't what I was used to, all white people.
Yeah.
I'm used to most crowds, all white, some Hispanic, some black. There's sprinkling of others, but this was the opposite.
Yeah.
Majority black, sprinkling of, and then black comics in the back watching.
Yes.
So when you get off the stage,
you gotta
walk right through. You gotta do a Soul Train line of hilarious black comics.
Yeah.
So if you bomb, there's an awkwardness of nobody wants to make eye contact.
Yeah.
You're getting consolation high fives. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry about it, dog.
Yeah. I've bombed before at a black club. Mm-hmm. And ordinarily, I would be like, whatever, man. But the motherfucking MC has to get the crowd back. So he's got to address you.
Mention.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the difference in a black show and a white show. in the white show, if a black comic bombs in the white show and a white comic comes up, he's not necessarily going to go in on you. For the most part, he's not. Unless he's just one of those guys that's his style. He just gets on everybody. Tony Hinchcliffe will do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's just going to be like, okay, guys. He's just going to figure out how to say it because he don't feel comfortable going at the brother. But in the black show, you get up there and bomb. Yeah. We talking about it.
Yeah, J. Anthony Brown fucking ripped me.
Did he?
Oh, my gosh. And had that shit cracking.
Dog, you thought it was a rough crowd. Yeah. And he let me show young man how it's done. And he ripped that thing for you. Let you see how it's done.
He didn't rip it for me.
Well, not to me.
He ripped me for them.
There it is. He ripped you for them while he showed you young whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Let me show you how you can get this crowd into a frenzy.
Yeah.
So that's what you had to do. I think I did that. I had to see that Thursday night. Oh, Donnell Rollins got up there. And he took what I thought was a bad crowd and, hit that shit way out the park. He murdered that beast. But every once in a while, you got to watch that. You got to watch yourself have a mediocre set and then watch a heavy hitter come up. Now, he wasn't right after me, but you watch a heavy hitter come up and be like, let me show you this crowd is just fine. I'm used to doing that. So when it happens to me, I'm like, okay, still human. But yeah, man, ironically is, we talked about going back to the Comedy Union, and it has officially happened. I had my first set, and, I'm happy it felt like I was home, dude.
Yes.
Exactly what we talked about. So, man, thank you for the push, dog.
No problem, man.
That is because of you. That is because that 2 a.m. conversation we had that night, and you said, man, why aren't you in the union? And, the next step was, I had to call in my avails, and they didn't really recognize my name. But, I did Marin at the union. Plus, I've been going to the union forever.
Yeah.
The Marin episode that I'm on, I think it's season 3. I don't know. Look at it. It's on Netflix. I literally played one of the black comics at the Comedy Union. And, it was a cool little guest star role. But it took place at the Comedy Union. So I got to, I've known the owner ends for a while. But that day, I really got, they see you in a different light when you come in with a Hollywood crew.
Yeah, yeah.
All of a sudden, there's a little more respect. You know what I mean? So he knew me from that. But when I called him my avails that Monday, I don't think he knew the name with the face. So when I showed up that Friday, he was like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, of course I know who you are. Me and Dominique went and hung. The next week, I called him my avails on Monday again. And that next Friday. So it was really 2 avail calls. I didn't show up I was booked the next Friday.
Okay.
So it didn't take long. They showed respect.
Yeah.
And when we got there, it was love, man.
Yeah, man, you did a good job, man.
Thank you, bro.
It was a pretty good night, man. We all came out to support. And it was, the night was entertaining too, man. So took me back, us talking shit.
Yeah, man, everybody there. You there, Dominique, Purdy, Dion Lack. These are the original crew when we started doing comedy back in the day. Everybody showed up. Your wife showed up. So that was cool, man. I appreciate y'all for showing up, man. It felt good to, like I said, because my temptation was I'm gonna go back to the Underwood tour and do some old hits that I know they love. But that's where the conversation we had, you're like, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to code shift. You can do you at home.
Yeah, definitely, man. Because here's the thing about it. Your family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so you ain't got to speak differently. You ain't got to change your material.
You ain't got to black it up, jive it up.
You ain't got to do that, man, because your family and everybody recognizes your family. And it's not just basically your skin color, because I'm not talking about that, but it's like the way you speak. You know what I'm saying? Your likes, your don't likes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything they know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's nothing like, well, I'm not familiar with that term.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with that experience.
It's not like I was raised in, where we're not.
Yeah.
I was raised where we are.
And raised on the same shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe not as extreme in certain situations.
Yeah, not as hood.
Yeah, not as hood, but basically same TV show, same music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The same shit that, you know what I'm saying, they was trying to do. Probably not gang stuff, but aside from that, you know what I'm saying? We was all trying to do the same shit.
Yeah. And
you know what I'm saying?
And sometimes there's always that insecurity when you're black. Are you black enough? White people don't, I guess they have that a little bit if they're quote unquote not the stereotype for white is success. So if they're poor, they call them poor white trash and they don't feel like they fit, right? But in black people, a lot of times if you're not hood, if you're not super hood, you get that complex of, am I black enough?
Well, yeah, there's a dynamic in that audience that would prefer to laugh at the shit that they see every single day. Their experience.
They would rather have Cat Williams over Chris Rock.
Right.
I have cousins that love Cat Williams and think Chris Rock is whack as fuck.
But
and Chris is my favorite.
I would say they would prefer Cat Williams over Chris Rock. But if Chris Rock came in there and ripped it, they would laugh.
Yes.
Just the same.
And that's the thing as an artist, as a human, I'm still learning. It's like you don't have to go in there and do Cat Williams. Yeah. You can still go in there and do your version of you. You might take it up you might add a little seasoning, but for the most part, you have to do you. And that was the organic full circle thing. That was the accomplishment. That was the win. The win was to go up there and do the same new material that I just worked out in Comedy Magic last week in the all white crowd with 3 black people in it. That ripped to be able to do that same thing in a black crowd and have a great set was a great accomplishment for me to not, let me go back and give them my hip hop shit that I used to do on tour show. Yeah. So that was a huge full circle.
Yeah, man. Trust your boys, man. Your boys gonna give it to you straight, man. That shit's there, so you're not gonna make any mistakes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like, dude, you got some solid material, which we believe you did, and the rest is history. You killed it.
Good looking, man. When we come back, man, we have a Dear Irby writer who wants to know how we feel about women changing their last name when they get married. Hey, what's up, y'all? If you like this show, you want to help us offset some of these costs, man, you feeling the need to donate, then do just that. Go to www.patreon.com and make a donation to the MRA Podcast. That is the MRA Podcast with Kyle and Kamal, and you can find us at Patreon. Or you can catch us in the street and just be like, hey, man, I love y'all. I want to bless you with some cash and put some dollars in our pocket. You can do that. Or you can hit us on Venmo. Find our names and just, bless us with dough on Venmo. Or you could pray for us. Do that too. But we prefer cash. Let's get into this Dear Irby letter.
Let us.
Dear Irby, I'm old school and I believe that when a woman marries a man, she should take on his last name. Me and my girl have been together for 6 years. We are looking toward getting married, but she has been talking this hyphenated name shit. First of all, she's not an only child who doesn't want her family name to disappear. And she's definitely not famous. I can understand if that were the case. At first, I rejected it. I'm like, you're marrying me, which means you're marrying my last name too. But I get tired of arguing about it and was thinking, okay, you want to be hyphenated? You want to have my last name dangling around your name like a medallion on your chain? Okay, fuck it. We're going to have a hyphenated marriage then. So fellas, I need you to take the kid gloves off on this one. I consider the MRA a place where the fellas can show up for male chromosome support and representation. I need help from you and even your listeners on some good ways to hyphenate this marriage. Like, for instance, I will be faithful to you and not seek sexual gratification elsewhere, hyphen, not on your period. I promise to have and to hold you, hyphen, till them Fashion Nova jeans ain't fitting like they used to. Help me to hyphenate this motherfucker, fellas. Hashtag hyphen these nuts. That's from Dre from Oakland. Come out, what you think, dog?
I feel Dre.
Okay.
I definitely feel Dre on this one, man. Especially if he's getting pressured to marry the woman and she wants to keep her last name and all that stuff. It's like, nah, man, it's all or nothing.
Come on, dog.
Yeah. You are, whatever your name is, Dre's last name. You know what I'm saying? That's your name. You're not... first name, my last name, hyphenated, Dre's like, nah. No. Like he said, like if you were for professional reasons, you know what I'm saying? If you was like some psychiatrist or something like that, or you were an actress, I get it. Or like he said, man, you're the last of your kind. But still, it's going to die with you because the kids are going to have my last name. We ain't doing that hyphenated shit. I know they do that in Latin cultures.
Yeah.
They'll take both parents.
Yeah, Antonio Villagrosa.
Yeah. No, Villagrosa is one name, right?
No.
It's Villa and...
It's his wife's name and his name.
What?
Yeah, man.
No, I thought like the parents. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not taking my... They take the wife's name? I know like... what's her name?
Them long Mexican last names.
Yeah.
I had a student that was Lopez. I was thinking, why the fuck you got two Lopez? I swear to God, man. I was
that's
like,
hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, they take both parents' last names. I get that. Nah, we ain't doing that. We not doing that, Dre. And I feel you, man. Like if she wants to hyphenate the name, have a hyphenated marriage then. You know what I'm saying? I definitely feel that.
But hold on, let me cut you in. So his name was Mario Antonio. The real name is Antonio Ramon Villar. That's his name. He added that other shit because of his wife.
And don't he got like... Didn't he like shake her or cheat on her or something?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but he kept the name.
He kept the name. That was his name. That's the name that made him famous, dog.
That nigga kept the name.
That's some crazy shit, dude.
Yeah, man.
All right, so back to you, Bob.
Yeah, man. I feel you though, man. Like hyphenate that marriage, man. You'll help with the kids. Hyphen unless the game's on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I get. I feel you, man. Like the thing about it is, I don't know your get down, Dre. I know like a lot of guys, if they had their druthers, would not be getting married. You know what I'm saying? They would just basically just be in a relationship.
Yeah. They don't want to get married.
Yeah.
But
so they want to get married. So if you got that pressure and she was asking about getting married and all this stuff and giving you little hints, but she wants to have everything her way.
Yeah, man.
I want the marriage. I want the wedding. And you know what? I'm keeping my last name too. She's got to give something. She's got, you know what I'm saying? I know you said you're tired of fighting and all that stuff. You don't like the beef and all that stuff. But, man, honestly, man, this is probably a hill worth dying on, in my opinion.
I hear you, man. We come back on the way in. Are you yelling at your radio right now? You know, what the hell you saying? You wrong, Kyle.
You wrong, Kamal.
Yeah. Or right. That's what I'm talking about.
Word.
Yeah. Hey, then tweet us. Stop what you're doing unless you're driving. Stop what you're doing. Hit us right now. Respond to us. You know, just talk to us right now.
Let us know how you feel.
I'm at Kyle Irby.
I'm at Angry Kamal.
Or you can hit us both at The MRA Podcast and let your voice be heard.
Yeah, man.
You know, so we'll read it.
We might even respond.
And you just might hear it on the show.
Yeah, man. Be a celebrity for a day.
Yes, man. Just stop what you're doing. Hit us up, man. You'll get a response.
Yes, sir.
Kamala absolutely hate the hyphen shit. I fucking hate it, man. I feel like the hyphen is her not fully committing to marriage. They want us to do the fully committing, but part of this deal, see, marriage is old school, right? Mm-hmm. But they want to update some of the bullshit, but they don't want to update everything. They want to update it for them, right? So they want to pick and choose. Well, that's too old school. Well, so was me only fucking you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So was marriage, period. Like if you gonna make me sign the bogus deal, also known as marriage, then at least you got to take my name. Mm-hmm. Period. Now, I don't understand why. No, you taking my name. This is how it is. This. Let me tell you how marriage was. This is why that's why the daddy gives you away. Your daddy gives you to me. I'm daddy now.
Yeah.
You don't get to keep that name. Mm-hmm. He's saying, I am her father. Nobody loves her like her daddy. Mm-hmm. Right. But what he's saying is, I am entrusting my duties to you now. That is why in traditional marriage ceremonies, the father gives the woman away. She's yours now. I provided for her. I took care of her. I taught her things. Now you got to do that. So what that means, Dre, is if you're asking her to be old school, you better do your job as a man. That means you got to be providing, you got to protect, if you want her to erase her father's name, you got to prove that you can be a worthy new father to her. But if you are bringing your end of the bargain as a new daddy, then you damn right you negotiate that shit in the deal. First of all, you got me signing a bogus deal. Marriage, it used to be great for men. Back in the day, a man just had to provide. He can have as many wives as he wanted. Like if you look in the Bible, there's no examples, and marriage comes from the Bible. Some use the Bible. There's no examples of a man cheating on his wife. People are like, yeah, there is. Read it. I dare you, because I've read it several times. Adultery really means having sex with another man's wife. That's adultery. That's what David did wrong. He had sex with another man's wife, and I'm realizing Kamal's not jumping in because he is a Muslim man. He's looking at me like, this is all news to me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. So I'm like, oh yeah, forgot. So let me just explain to the people that don't know. You don't have to take my word for it. Read it yourself. In the Bible, back in the day, if a man had sex with a woman, she became his wife anyway. You added wives, and there was rules to protect women from getting, if you had sex with a virgin, she had to become your wife. Like that was one of the rules, because back in the day they was just smashing and dipping, right? You had to pay for the woman, you had to pay the family for the woman, and they had to present her to you as a virgin. If she was a virgin, they used to put the sheet outside to prove that she was a virgin. Kind of like on T.I.
T.I.'s doing?
Yeah. So they had to, that was part of the deal. Like, I'm going to get you a virgin, you're going to pay me, and she's going to be yours now. If you wanted another woman, you could always add her as long as you were taking care of it. Now the rules have changed. A man has to be with only one woman, which is a disadvantage to the man. Mm-hmm. So the rules are now favoring women. Now a woman can leave and still get the money. So now marriage there's not much in it for men anymore, other than their woman not bitching for 4 months. Pretty much. I mean, that's what you went through.
Yeah.
So you got to put your foot down on this one, dog, because she's already getting you to give up new pussy. She's already getting you to agree to only have sex with her for the rest of y'all's life. Hopefully you can, most people can't negotiate that great deal that you can have side ass. Also, how can I trust that you're going to be fully submissive to me? Did he say submissive? He did. How can I trust that you'll be fully submissive to me if you're not even going to submit to the name?
Yeah.
This is a red flag, bro. And so I say for Dre in Oaktown, brother, make an ultimatum. Fuck that. I'll marry you, but you're taking the name.
Yeah.
Period.
I said the same thing. This is a hill worth dying on.
Yeah, man. If you guys have a Dear Irby letter, send us an email at dearirby@themrapodcast.com. That is dearirby@themrapodcast.com. Thank you for listening to this very special episode of the MRA Podcast. You can find my main man, 50 Grand, my partner in crime, Kamal Abdul-Jabbar, at Angry Kamal. You can and that's on all social media. You can find me, Kyle Irby, at Kyle Irby, KYLEERBY, on all social media. We're at the MRA Podcast on all social media as well. Go to my personal website, KyleIrby.com, where you can see some of the videos, commercials I've done. And the MRAPodcast.com is where you can hear every episode we've ever done. We'll be back next week with a normal show. I'm about to get into this piano, but as always, ladies, we love you fellas. Be a man at all times.
Deuces.
MRA.